I tell you what, we're enjoying the work of the Collingwood Footy Club right now, and that'll upset some other people out there that don't like the fact that we're enjoying Carlton's work as well. But they have, under Craig McRae, are playing a brand of footy that stands up under pressure from a defensive point of view, and then when it's time to go, wisp.
Can they?
They go.
They've got gears, Gary. That's what they've got. They've got gears.
Get your own wine, will you? Taylor Adams is a super part of that. He's in very, very good form as well. I reckon he'd be enjoying his footy. He's been good enough to join us. G'day, Tate.
Hey guys, hey Tim, how you doing?
We're going really well, mate. Congratulations on another terrific result on the weekend. You're at the MCG. You're against the Giants team they're playing with a bit of freedom at the moment, which can be dangerous sometimes when you come up against a team like that.
Yeah, well, our record against them the last probably 4 years hasn't been great. So they've sort of had the wood over us, and so it was a great performance in the end. We felt like we dominated the game for a large part of it. Obviously, we know that they can score quickly, and they did that in the last quarter. But it was a good, solid win to hold on and finish off the week really well.
Hey, how nervous did you get in that last sort of 4 or 5 minutes of that game?
I felt like we're in control. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, obviously, but once we went into what we call sort of like finish the game, try to lock the ball up a little bit and stop their free-flowing footy, I felt pretty comfortable. And we've actually done a heap of work on that over the last month at training, but also in games. We've had a couple of close ones recently, so I felt well prepared for it, but never too safe.
Whose call is it then to lock the game up like that? Is it led by the leaders out there on the ground, or do you get a message from the sidelines? How does it all operate?
Yeah, generally, if it's a really tactical one, 4 or 5 minutes still to go in the game, it'll come from the coach's box. But we know that if there's only a couple of kicks in it and there's 2 or 3 minutes left, then it just happens on the ground. So that one was called from the box because we went into it about 4 minutes to go and tried to lock the game away there.
Your coach, from the outside, he appears to be doing a great job. He looks like a coach that is well-liked by the playing group as well. What is it, if I said to you, what is it that stands out about his coaching? What would you say?
I think the authenticity about him. He's done things his own way. He's given great opportunity to his senior assistants and obviously leans on them quite a bit in terms of allowing them to run meetings and, have their say in the game plan. So he's obviously got some experience there in Justin Leppage, Hayden Skipworth and Brendan Bolton. But he sort of just coaches almost like the DNA, sort of, what we really stand for, the togetherness of Collingwood. And, he does a really, really great job of motivating us. He's a really creative guy that he comes up with these themes every week. And, he's been awesome for us. I've absolutely loved playing underneath him, and what he's brought to the footy club has been awesome.
Can you just give us an example of maybe one of the themes? Maybe you can't because maybe it's in-house and you don't want to, but maybe just give us a little insight.
Oh, he does really like quirky things. I'm not sure if you heard about the Darcy Cameron 40th game theme that we went into. Who did he play? It was a few weeks ago, and we celebrated Darcy Cameron's 40th game, which sounds extremely odd, I know. But, sort of, I don't know, he likes to put the spotlight on us rather than the opposition team. Obviously, we do a heap of work on understanding what they do well and where their strengths lie. But ultimately, his focus is on us as a team. And, so he likes to, I don't know, almost poke fun at what we're doing and make it really enjoyable, which takes the, I don't know, not the seriousness out of it, but it makes you feel a bit more comfortable, especially pre-game when those sort of things happen.
Well, whatever he's doing, it's working, that's for sure. Hey, we had a look at Nick Daicos yesterday or last night, and there's this great stat. I know stats can be whatever you want them to be, but behind Tom Stewart, he's number 2 interceptor. So you go, intercept, whatever. But this is between the 250-metre arc. So when you think intercept possessions, a lot of it is done in defensive 50, players sort of drifting back into a hole, the other defender holds down a player and they mark, or whatever it is, the Blues. He's getting them between the arcs, which, I mean, Taylor, this is a player in his first year of footy who's then clearly being able to see the game as well as anyone in the competition, read what's happening, come off his man at the right time to intercept between the 250-metre arcs. I mean, have you seen a player more ready for AFL footy than Nick Daicos?
No, probably not. No, physically he's obviously a smaller guy, but he's actually a lot stronger than he probably looks. But yeah, his footy IQ is as good as I've seen. He's probably been blessed in a sense. He's been around the footy club for a while with Josh being there, and obviously he's done all the AAS programs and the Vic Metro stuff. But he puts so much time into his game. Both the performance side, but also the mental aspects of it. And he's a bit of a sponge out there. He trains as well as anyone I've seen in their first year. He's got a real competitiveness about him, and it probably knows a few blokes at times. Some of the older guys are just floating through a little bit, and here's Nick asking to man the ball off you. But he's been super for us. Doesn't look like he's in his first year, that's for sure. Clearly a great decision maker, unreal ball user, and super clean. So yeah, that's a really surprising stat. But when you think about it, the way that he plays, I'm not that surprised.
Hey, Taylor Adams has joined us. The Pies are playing super footy, as is he. You got a telethon fundraiser today for the Collingwood Foundation. So talk us through that. AFLW players will be taking calls to process the donation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're on the phones from 10 a.m. this morning. So yeah, any donation, if people are able to do so, they just have to call 1300 Magpie, and you'll speak to one of your favourite Collingwood sports people. And we're trying to raise some money. We're trying to raise $500,000 actually for the Collingwood Foundation, which basically does great work for those in need. And I've been doing so for a number of years now. So big morning coming up at our footy club.
And which of your teammates will get the most calls, do you think, this morning?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably say at the moment, Jack Ginnivan's probably a fan favourite. So I dare say he might be able to raise a fair bit of money.
Donations above $2 are tax deductible. The Collingwood Foundation does do some magnificent work and have done since Eddie's time, and we see that all the time. Donation $10 provides a meal for someone who's suffering food insecurities through Magpie Meals. $25 can get a care pack for women and children in crisis through the Magpie Nest program, and any donation of any size is going to make an impact. So the Collingwood Footy Club do great stuff away from the ground as well. Hey, Tay, great to talk to you. Thanks for your time, mate. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Taylor Adams there from the Collingwood Footy Club. And do they continue to surpass your expectations or exceed your expectations?
Yeah, they do. They do. They play a really solid brand of football too. They can attack, but they can defend. I think you put up some stats last night about how good they've been defensively since round 10 too. They might be the number one defensive unit in the competition. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
And your mind doesn't necessarily go straight there to their defensive work, but they're very good at stopping you from scoring too.
After over the last 5 or 6 rounds, and the hardest to score against, the hardest to score once they go inside 50, and the hardest to score against from turnover, yet they still play this pretty attractive brand of footy going the other way. And the comparison is with Hawthorn, who play attractive footy one way, but just get split open back the other.
You showed some great vision, though, last night about how hard their players work up and down the ground, like to outnumber when they go forward and outnumber when they go back, and how many times GWS had to turn their back on goal and actually just buy some time to go forward because they just didn't have anybody at that part of the ground. So you're right. They've got some work. GWS actually have some work to do in that area. That game was the 40th that he was talking about was when 2 Hawthorn players were playing their 250th. So that was sort of like
celebrate the 40th.
The mood behind it, yeah.